penguin, an elephant, a fish, a seal, and a dog. They were all asked to climb a tree. The monkey obviously was the only one able to do so.
That's so unfair. Should the assessment pattern be so rigid?
Welcome to AHC's Perspective 360 on the National Education Policy 2020. Good morning, Miss. Good morning, students. Settle down in your own places. Get your books in order. Today, we're discussing current affairs, specifically the NEP 2020. It's going to be a game changer.
Miss, it's a national education policy, right? But isn't it only for higher education? I've seen it all over the news, and I've heard it's been announced and is being implemented soon.
Miss, can I?
Yes, Zara.
Miss, is this thing going to be coming in midterm too? Because it is not mentioned anywhere in the portion. Is it a new addition?
Just because it's not in the syllabus, it doesn't mean it is not important. As a school and its students, we should be aware of this policy and how it's going to affect us.
Miss, may I add something?
Yes, Ruben.
Previous policies on education focused largely on the issues of access and equity. The unfinished agenda of the National Education Policy 1986 was modified in 1992 and has been appropriately dealt with in this policy.
Yes, Kavya. We must read our newspapers. There was a committee formed which after years of research put forward this policy. It got approved and now it's going to be implemented soon. It was headed by Dr. Kasturi Rangan. The policy's key principles like use of technology, equity, inclusion, continuous reviews are all encompassing. The 10+2 pattern has changed.
Wait, what? That means education without exams, no coaching classes, no tuitions, no burning the midnight oil. Let's implement it from tomorrow itself. Hooray for
Assessments will always be there, so don't be so happy. Board exams will actually be made easier thanks to the NEP 2020 because it focuses on core concepts, a relief for many students. Many exam models will be looked into and exams will be of two types, objective and descriptive, and new guidelines will be prepared by leading bodies.
Miss, can I answer?
Yes, Asda.
So what's the difference between the old and new policy?
Anyone would like to contribute to this discussion? Yes, Udit.
You know, Aslan, previously the education system was a 10+2, but the NEP has changed this to the 5+3+3+4. Before applying for grade 1 previously, we did not have to apply for kindergarten and nursery, but the NEP has made this a compulsion so as to the children have a strong foundation.
Wait, a new policy means that have to be implemented all over India, right?
Wait, I know the answer. May I?
Yes, Anya, go ahead.
Swan, ideally yes, but in the case of NEP, some states like Kerala and Karnataka have refused to implement it. Meanwhile, other states such as Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh and Delhi are already implementing a part of it.
Why did these states refuse to implement it?
Rehan, I know that. Miss, may I?
Yes, Shakti.
The language policy in NEP is a broad guideline and advisory in nature and it is up to the states, the schools and the institutions to decide on the implementation. Education India is a concurrent list subject.
Yes, Anna.
Miss, what's a concurrent list?
Yes, Kritika, do you have an answer?
Yes, Miss. Sana, we learned this in civics in the last term. The concurrent list comprises of subjects of interest of both the union and the states. It consists of education, trade, forest, marriage, adoption, succession, etc. Both the central and state governments can make or change laws in this subject.
Yes, Parsh.
Vikanandri, that's Tamil for thank you so much. Dayavadu Abhar. NEP 2020 has said that the medium of instruction up till grade 5 can be in the local language. 3 languages to be taught will be decided by the state. The Languages of India Fun event should be conducted annually, and classical languages such as Odia, Pali, Prakrit, Sanskrit, Malayalam, Telugu, etc. can be part of the curriculum.
Medhavi, that's brilliant, Sanskrit. New languages,
teaching styles, curriculum, so many changes. We can even choose vocational subjects like carpentry, art, fashion designing as majors in college now.
Wait a minute. Did you say local language till grade 5? But I do not speak any local language. How will I learn it? It will be stressful for students whose parents have a bureaucratic job and get transferred on a regular basis.
Yes, Adrian.
Sana, wait, let me tell you. Did you know that NEP mentions that the medium of instruction should be that everyone in the class is comfortable with the local language. Thus, difficult topics or trivia can be addressed in local language. It's just like how we teach others, a little in English, a little in Hindi.
But I want to learn foreign languages, and in the case of NEP, it only states Indian languages. How will I benefit from this?
Yes, Asad. NEP mentions foreign languages too. The languages can be taught through gamifications and apps as well to spark interest in children.
Yes, Aga. I heard that NEP has a provision for students to take up a combination of subjects as opposed to the rigidity of the earlier systems. Instead of typical arts, commerce, science, I can take up a combination of physics, history and English.
Miss, I would like to add to Arav's point.
Yes, sir.
Arav, the scheme also allows for multiple entry and exit points. In case a student is injured like me and cannot continue the course, each student can digitally store the academic credit and the credit transfers can be done within the subject too.
Miss, may I add to Dakshi's point? Yes, sir. The government has implemented the multiple exit and entry policy, mainly for students going through an undergraduate degree. This would normally take 3 years, whereas now it changed to 4 years. Students can also show credits for every year they study. For example, a student studies 2 years in one institution. The credits for these 2 years will be stored in the Academic Bank of Credit, which is a bank which stores all the credits that a student gets. So if this student now wants to join another institution, he or she can do so. But instead of starting from the first year, they can start directly from the third year. So this is really good for the students. But what about the institutions? This is not so great for them because they will have to change their course in such a way that students can enter and exit midway, which is not great for them and will cause a degrade and dilution of the course.
Ruben, that's a lot of research. But Miss, I have something to say. May I?
Yes, correct.
Talking about physical health, NEP 2020 has called for annual checkups to be conducted by schools, a reduction in the weight of the school bags, and mandatory health and wellness skills such as fitness, healthcare, mental health, and
Do you mean nutrition there?
Talking about physical health, NEP 2020 has called for annual checkups to be conducted by schools, a reduction in the weight of school bags, and mandatory health and wellness skills such as healthcare, mental health, personal and public hygiene to be included in the curriculum.
But all schools are already doing that. So what's new other than the pattern change?
Yes, Rekha.
Integration of technology in classes 6 to 12, online education, online books, adult education, ICT and with libraries, adult education centers, counseling, better infrastructure, focusing on 21st century teaching skills, sharing resources, artificial intelligence. Sana, there's already so much. How much more do you want?
Miss, may I oppose Rehan for a moment?
Yes, Ruben.
No, Rehan, I get its point. He means that all these changes have already been implemented in our school. But this policy applies to the whole of India, not just here in Mumbai. And even in the marginal villages, where the best of these facilities is just not available. So yes, all these changes have almost been implemented in Mumbai, but not in the small villages.
Yes, sir.
You know, the knowledge of India will be of prime importance. Indian knowledge systems, private management practices, forest management, traditional organic crop cultivation, natural farming. We will be exposed to it all.
Yes, Neil.
Just a minute. This is gonna happen immediately? How? So many things proposed by the government is still pending. So how all of this will be achieved?
So, Neil, there is a time frame mentioned by the government. First, implementation of the spirit and intent of the policy will be the most critical matter. Second, the policy initiatives will be implemented in a phased manner. Third, prioritization will be important. The most critical and urgent matters will be taken up first. Fourth, comprehensiveness in implementation is key because this policy is holistic and interconnected, and only a full-fledged implementation will ensure that the desired outcomes are achieved. So by the decade 2030-2040, this entire policy will be fully in operational mode, following which another comprehensive review will be undertaken. Yes, Ruben.
Miss, you have completed school and college by then.
Well, Ruben, you never know. The policy might get implemented even sooner.
The committee that proposed the changes must be really smart because the changes certainly work. I am so happy to be in a school where almost all the changes made by NEP have already been implemented. For the rest of India, NEP will take some time. But you know what will not take a lot of time?
What?
This discussion to end and break to begin.